Yahoo, Prof here, and I've got I don't know if it'll be a quick video for you. I don't even know how I'm going to prop up what I'm doing in this video because we're on the Pixel 7 Pro. Here's my thing, and I used to have a clippy clamp for phones, but I don't know where that ended up. Like, legitimately. It used to be on one of these guys, the Gorilla Pods, I think that's what those are called. Maybe it needs any GoPro stuff for the older GoPros, like the batteries and stuff like that. Hit me up. I just need to get it out of here, and it's not worth the time or money. Like, here's all these GoPro mounts and shit. Time or money to deal with. Sorry, I thought this. Oh, there's more GoPro batteries. Yeah, if you need the older style GoPro batteries, let me know. I thought that the adapter plate would be over there, but yeah, here's all my like kind of sinky thing for lenses, GoPro shit, batteries, adapters, microphones. None of which I still have anymore. This little standy dude. Alright, well, you guys don't care, but why are you here? Well, I need to unplug him. Why are you here? Why are you here? You are here because you like the Sony M1 STs, maybe. Or you know that I like the Sony M1 STs. Well, for some time, if you're wondering, Sony M1 ST is the Japanese exclusive updated version of their CD900 ST. CD900 ST, why would I know that? Well, you don't. In the US, it'd be the 7506. That's the Japanese exclusive, like, studio professional use version of the 7506. And the 7506 is the professional version. They changed it over to neodymium magnets or neodymium magnets. From the MDR-MV1, which is one of my all-time favorites. I've been using those since I was a wee lad. Heck, my dad put them in his motorbike helmet millions of years ago. I didn't even know I was using good headphones because I didn't even know good audio was a thing, really. Turns out I've been using Porta Pros and MDR-MV1s since I've been a small little guy. Well, what I've wanted is basically I use these at work all the time. I was using them at home, but it turns out I listen to more music at work than I do at home. So then it's like, well, why not bring the really nice headphones to the place you use them most often? And I got a case for them. There is, I think it's GEEKRIA makes a case, which getting anything for the MDR M1 STs is very rare. There's basically, Yaxi makes pads for it, that's it. Sony makes cables for it, that's it. Nobody makes third-party cables. At least proper ones, unless you're in Japan, because it's got a 4-pole, 3.5mm screw-on locking connector. That is, well, quite rare. We're going to see if I can get one, though. Since being at home, I've been having to work from home. I'm like, what would really be nice is something of this size and sound. Remember, these are essentially studio monitor reference headphones. It doesn't say on the top of the band like it did the 7506s, but like a studio monitor reference headphone that's open back, but that is that size. I also regularly use right here. These are also an endgame headphone for me. Bought these because actually I advised somebody else to buy them, and I didn't realize how good they are. I just knew they were gonna buy a pair of Audio-Technica, like a headset, and I'm like, no. For the same money, you can get a better pair, the R70Xs. These are about $350 new, and a desktop mic. In this case, they didn't have good USB, so it was an XLR mic, and they're still using it to this day. These things are so stupid light. They're somehow reference monitoring, but yet they don't have that sharp edge I'm used to on other reference headphones. That can be like a bit grainy, especially up on the upper end. If you want a open back reference sounding headphone that is still smooth and I can endlessly listen to those and wear those. However, the cup on here is a bit bigger than the Sony, and they're less head-shaped. Like, the Sony is, like, really pretty out of the way. Small headphone. Also, these have stuff coming down both sides. I have custom headphones. That is sticks only probably about half of the way of the originals. The original plug stuck out like that and would jab me in the shoulders. So what I basically wanted was these, but open back. And I tried that. And I guess I tried the wrong one. But these are the Philips Fidelio X1s. Found them on eBay. Found a brand new pair. Found a brand new pair. $80 for the X1s. I wanted specifically the X1s. Some people say they actually sound better than the X2s. The only downside is non-removable, like their cups are glued on. I might have a fix for that as well. Also over here, giant chubby cable, 6-meter one replacement. Came in the same issues. I actually got it down to, it's actually the new updated connector. There's play inside of the connector. You can actually move it when it's plugged in, like this, and it must unplug internally or something. But I picked these up thinking they would be smaller but open back. They're heavy compared to the R70Xs, and they're actually not that small, as you can see here. Like, here is the Sony M1 STs right next to it. These are not small. They actually sound fairly good. Unless you like doing some mods or for some reason you prefer the original, I actually do, because also the headband is smaller. When I wear them, these go almost all the way up to the top, which is fine by me because they do fit. But because they found some bigger people weren't fitting them, the later on headbands are much bigger. So I'm actually happy that I got this one. One thing to be aware of, I don't remember if I made a video on these really or not, but this is the first time I've ever had a cable make a huge difference. Right now, this is not the original. This is the IAI cable. The stock cable makes these sound like shit. Like, I thought people were, like, how did people think these sound good? What the fuck is going on? And then I finally saw some people saying, like, oh, it's a high impedance cable. I remember even seeing that before I bought them, but I'm like, it doesn't matter. I have my topping DX7 Pro Plus over here, and I can throw it in high impedance mode and just crank it more, and that'll solve it. No. They undersell it by saying it's a high impedance cable. That just makes it sound like it's harder to drive. I mean, I have adapters that have resistors in them because there are some, like my old Asus DAC amp is designed for 600 ohm headphones. So anytime you use less than 600 ohm headphones on it, you have almost no volume control. So I actually have a impedance adapter that basically makes, I have one for 32 ohm headphones because that was the most common I was using at the time, and then another one for like 150 ohm headphones that basically purposely increases their impedance, so you have better control over that, because unlike modern ones, where modern ones will have a switch on the back, like even later versions of that Asus Essence 1 DAC, and higher end ones had a switch on the back for IEMs and headphones. That was kind of like an impedance switch. Mayflower Electronics that are built on that like open source one, they have a little switch on the back between two of them, or a little button on the front. On the topping newer ones, it's in the software. However, so like I didn't have any worry about impedance because I'm going to just crank it up more. That's fine. No, the stock cable of this, literally take it. It seems nice, but literally take that cable and throw it in the trash. A lot of people were recommending the V-Moda cable. That thing is tiny, squirrely, super thin, likes to knot up. No. If you, like in this case, I already had, this is IAI's highest end cable that they still sell on the regular basis that isn't a limited edition. You don't have to get this one, but this is their only straight plug as well. And I do prefer straight plugs, generally speaking, for the type of equipment I use. Usually DJs will have that right angle because they're above it and they plug it down into it. So it would just put a lot of strain like that. So that's why II, who's mainly a DJ headphone company, has right angles. Threw this on there, sounds amazing. I don't like how much it clamps, a little bit too much for my head, But I think a lot of that is due to these ear cups that are just like rock fucking hard. So we might have a solution for that coming as well. This cable will have to go back to my IAIs that are, there's a whole bunch of them just strewn over there. However, I do have a bunch of different cables for II. These just need to go back to the set that it came from. I just grabbed it because you only need a 3.5 mil on this side. I would say, despite these claiming they're like 20 ohms or somewhere around there, they're under 32 ohms, they need way more power. Way more power. You'll have to crank that up. I don't think that is correct, even once you swap out the cable. But why I bought these, and I guess I should have gotten the, is it like the T1 or T2 instead of the X? Because that's like, instead of having this whole band, it's just a top thing like this and a smaller cup. But I tried getting a open back version of the M1 ST. I wanted something of this physical size, but open back. It turns out that Sony has been listening. I know this was long-winded, but I wanted to show you off that I got these. The Fidelio X1/X2, still a great buy. You can find them $100 or less. You probably want the X2HR, but that does have the updated headband. Removable cups, though, so you can use Deconi makes purpose-made ones for these. Either way, whatever one you get, supposedly the cable's fixed in the X2. Throw it out, because it's super long too anyway, and get yourself, you can get an II one. These are pretty not cheap, but realistically, any standard 3.5 mil cable, like audio cable, good quality audio cable, will solve the sound issue with these bad boys. Seriously, with the stock cable, these things sounded like just like cheap throwaway garbage. And I was like, how do people think these sound good? I've never had that. I call BS on people that say, like, because they're, for the M1 ST, this is running the Sony balanced cable right now. They make like a silver plated cable that's actually higher end than this. Like, this was already like, I don't know, some stupid amount of money, like $100 some or something from Sony for this, and it doesn't even lock. The shorter cables for the Sonys don't even lock. That's why I'll probably try and have some custom one made. But I do not believe that the silver one is going to sound better than that. Right? I've never experienced that in my life. Often I only get new cables from stock. If I can, I'll get a stock cable because they're going to be making it the most correct, right? However, most of those are too long, or some cases too short. Like I sit, just as an example, here's my temporary setup. I sit here, DAC amp is there. I use like a 4 to 5 foot cable. Even the 6 foot can get a bit long for me because I don't walk away and walk around with it on. I've been doing that kind of more, but usually, if possible, I use speakers. So we got some speakers hidden back there. I stole them from the repair PC over there since that's waiting for its new 5600X 3D. But why I went through this is I love these. These are endgame headphones for me, the M1 STs. Seriously, try a pair. Get the Yaxi pads. The original pads, I would say, do sound ever so slightly better, but they are Japanese exclusive headphones made for Japanese ears. Here, see, I got dangly bits. It is far less common for people of Asian descent to have dangly bits. Also, people are just smaller, right? So what happens is my ears touch the inside of those angled speakers, and I could not wear them for more than 2 hours. So I will take the slight change in audio, and I'm saying slight change in audio with the Yaxi pads on here for literally, also, you had to precariously place them purposely on your head, and supposedly that is to get the best sound out of these. They wanted to make sure you put them in the exact correct place every time, based on feedback and stuff like that, right? Here's the thing. Super annoying, especially when it hurts your ears, so you kind of have to shuffle them around so it's hurting different parts of your ears. However, you get the Yaxi pads on the M1 STs, you just hawk these on. See, look at this. Oh, look, they're on my head. Wow. Done. Super, super duper easy. You could never one-handed. Like, you'd have to, like, place them exactly right so your ear holes go exactly where the ear hole box is, etc. So get the Yaxi pads. That is an endgame headphone. If you go with the Sony cable, though, like, those are $200 headphones, roughly. Yaxi pads are $50. Cables, like, I don't know, $150. So it's a $400 pair of headphones. Why do I bring up $400 pair of headphones, you might ask? Let's pop these over there. You'll see in videos on improving these. Even the X ones can be. Thanks to random Chinese post you got to keep an eye out for. Let's just say how they attach the pads in the future isn't really anything special at all. That, though, is something special. It looks like, how dirty is this? These haven't been out for more than a couple months. Oh, I did that when I pulled it out of the box, because the box they shipped it in is exactly fitting, and I pulled on something I see, 2023. Sony Corp Japan, made in Thailand. I don't remember where the M1 STs are made. I think those might be made in Japan, actually. Those are also designed in Japan. So, I don't know. I haven't read anything up on these, really. But the M1 STs were actually designed by, like, they have an in-house studio division. That's the group that actually designs the, like, Sony branded recording studios. They're the ones that designed the M1 ST. They're also the ones that upgraded the 7506 to the 900 ST. If you've also saw the in-ear monitors, the old school ones that are massive, that have, like, speakers this big that stick out and then go in your ears, they made those as well. It's been some interesting stuff, so I don't necessarily know where this guy came from. This is the Sony MDR-MV1. MV1. Yeah, I'm kind of running out of space. By the way, if you guys need a nice notebook, I love the Rhodia dot book. Dots are way more preferable to graph, because when you're drawing or designing stuff, you just connect the dots, whereas the graph lines actually get in the way usually. So dots are what you want. A couple brands will do that. I love this reverse book, though. What that means, it's got a wire binding, and so that means you can flip it all the way around if you need to, and between. But because it is 8.5 by 8.5, you can either write in it as a notebook, you know, like this way, or I often prefer the reporter style, where you're like this, and you can flip it over. The reverse book lets you do it whatever freaking way you want. And this one's almost full. But then I take those are super sticky, full stick sticky notes, slap it on the front. You're never without your sticky notes. If you're working on somebody's computer or need to leave a note, well, you got your notebook, you got your sticky notes stuck to your notebook, boom, done. You don't even have to worry about it. You always got your sticky notes as long as you got your notebook. So the Sony MDR-MV1. I don't even know how I found out about this, but I just got back from, I did a bit of a trip after the LTX. Stayed in Vancouver for a couple extra days, then went down to Seattle, saw one of my best friends. Stayed with him for a better part of a week. Then went down to Portland and saw a couple of you guys and a couple of other friends down there. Just hung out, used some of that PTO up, because I get that good PTO nowadays. And when I got back, literally next day shipped these. B&H Photo Video had them. I literally think they showed up in an ad on Google. Like, as in, like, in my Google newsfeed, sometimes they'll have ads of things you, like, recently searched or whatever. And in there was these. I don't remember why or how. Oh, here's my Tactile Knife Co. box for this Butte. That's the Maverick in the Fat Carbon Purple Haze, I believe. Oh, it's such a gorgeous. Here you go. Let's see if we can do. I think we got to start and stop video in order to do macro, because, like, we can do macro video now. It's obviously not doing it. I'll see if I can add that in as a thing at the end. But yeah, these were there, and I'm like, what the fuck? That looks like a. Here, let's take the cable out. So I think these are like 1.8 or 1.4 meter cables. It's like a 4 foot or a little bit over. Perfect length for me when you're sitting right next at your desk, or this will go down to like an audio pack if you're using these professionally, or into like a mixer right in front of you. I actually ended up buying, because the quality on these is actually pretty actually nice. I ended up buying because I was sick of when I needed to use non-balanced audio that I had to get out the like 18-foot long 1/4 inch only one, which is what you'll see in here. For my MDR-M1 STs. If you're wondering what this little nubbin, that's for my mod mic wireless, so that I can use these for work. Because I can use my DAC amp, listen to tunes and all that sort of stuff. Then when I need to take a call, be in a Teams meeting, phone calls, any sort of that, just turn on my mic. I leave the receiver always plugged in, so the computer cannot mess up like what mic it should be using, because it's never unplugged. I just then turn on the mod mic wireless, slap it on the side, and we are rocking. Probably better audio than most everybody else has. And in this case, to get it close to my mouth, I put it as low as I could on that ear cup there. Same thing may end up happening in these, because these are a utility headphone. Like, if something happened to these, I would either buy repair parts or immediately buy another set. I treated the MDR-V6s the same way. Those got 2 repairs from me, and I'm considering getting a new headband for them, which is like a full teardown, or somehow recovering it. I've done that to DT-770s as well. Those are very good live monitoring headphone. Not necessarily like a reference studio headphone. That's where like the open back is going to be doing a little bit better, but repaired my fair share of DT-770s, and Square's he actually had my last pair, which were the 32 ohm leather cupped ones. Really good isolation. He just found that he had those again over there, and he's like, oh, these are super good. Why was I letting these sit on the shelf? I'm like, yeah, they are. So long-windedness, MDR-MV1. Do you notice some similarities? What these are essentially, and these are available in the U.S. market and Japan. They actually launched in the U.S. market, from my understanding, or they were available there first. I am not sure about you international guys, but unlike these, which were Japanese exclusive, the MDR-MV1 is at least internationally available, is on the U.S. website. We don't get any of the accessories here. They didn't ship any of that with it, because it's technically for actually like a different headphone, not even the M1 ST. It just happens to work, and we don't get that one either, so you don't get any accessories. But these are available. Like, I just went on B&H Photo, gave them $400, shipped them next day, paid extra for that, so they would be here by the end of the week. So then I can use them over the weekend. And what is it, oral bliss? Is that the term that Austin Evans uses? There's pee-pee. Finally got my cow pee here. So their big thing with selling with these is the 360 reality audio. So that is their virtual surround sound. That's going to be like their competitor to like Atmos or Dolby Atmos. You'll actually get some audio albums or some music albums, especially live. You can find some in Atmos, right? So this 360 reality audio, that's essentially their equivalent of that. Apple has another term for it. It's always lossy though right now, from what I can tell, unless you're getting off like 4K Blu-rays. But like the part that like they'll disseminate to you, where you can use it in, it might be Tidal, I forget. It's really hard to find that stuff. It's becoming more and more available. Even Asian Kung Fu Generation put out their last album with it, because they are a Sony. They're signed by a Sony label, or the Sony themselves. So that's becoming more and more a thing. High-res audio. These were high-res audio as well. Personally, I'm more of the red vibe for the studio monitors, right? But here, because these are the US market, you get the green, and that is of the 7506s. The MDR V6s were like the M1 STs here with the red. That is much more my jam, but the US market for their professional line went with that like green professional. That's what it would be on the 7506 as well. So some people have, I think like Dank Pods has teal ear cups, like dual teal ear cups on his. What do we have in the box besides in Japan? I think these just ship in a brown box, just like that's how the MDR-M1 STs come and CD900 STs, because they're just considered studio equipment. You know, they just come in like a brown box. Yeah, open back monitor headphone. They don't say studio monitor like these two, so I don't know if that like. But they are professional line. So take that as it may. I haven't looked into the like anything else. I literally saw them. Literally saw they were essentially the open back version of M1 ST and bought them. So normally I could tell you that those are super sensitive. They are super easy to drive. I think these are only a couple months old, if that as well. I've seen very little on the internet about them. I don't like regularly browse audiophile stuff, but I know that those basically you plug them into anything and they sound the same. That was the purpose of them, like as in like the amp doesn't color the sound coming out of them, which I have heard before because I've had plenty of different amps. The cable nonsense though, it's copper wire. Okay, like apparently Philips made that copper wire wrong. I mean, as long as you're making copper wire correct, that really shouldn't affect sound drastically. If at all, like maybe noticeable on a graph or something, but fuck. So I don't know, like we got here, we'll zoom you in. You know, we got open back, yes, so good for at home. They breathe better too then. These can get a little toasty. Now they are like Alcantara microfiber on the inside, but they're leather on the outside to block that sound and keep it in there, and also keep some more strength, because the microfiber isn't as strong, so it kind of like the side would collapse like that otherwise. Oh, amazing. I love those Vax, the Yaxi pads. Probably going to get a pair for my MDR-V6s if I can fix the headband. Because my MDR-V6s are the older ones. I think it's the not nickel cadmium battery, like the pre-neodymium speakers in them. From like the 90s. 40 millimeter, yep, that's how you get them small. You gotta, a lot of speakers are right around 40 millimeter. That's kind of like a standard size, unless you're going into like big audiophile land. IIs are also 40 millimeter. That's just kind of a, you know, like see 24 ohm impedance like that's down to 100 dB per milliwatt. That is decent, like, but not amazing sensitivity. I think the M1 STs might be a little bit better, and I know for a fact that the 7520s, which is what was supposed to replace the 7506 and I do have a pair in the US and Europe, has a much higher sensitivity than that. That's actually why they got banned in Europe, which then they got canceled worldwide, because when you knock out one of your giant markets, you know, there's not too much point in having what do you want to call it, like the product if you can't sell it, right? So 5 hertz to 80,000 hertz, the ridiculous. 223 grams, stupid light. These should be stupid light. I don't remember the M1 STs. I could look it up. These are already stupid light. Not light in the same way. They're like dense compared to like the R70Xs, which are just like clouds on your head. And then it comes with the headphone cable, which is the same one as the M1 ST. It's that 4-pole 3.5 millimeter TRRS screw-on locking, and it is a 2.5 meter or 98.43 inches. You can see that an American or somebody of you know, standard measurement did not write that, because they use big measurement for you know, like metric units, meters, cool, and then they use small unit. That'd be like saying like measuring the cable in millimeters, which does happen on shorter like cables below, usually below 6 foot, definitely below 3 foot. But yeah, 98.43 inches. Can any of you that do American in the comments tell me how long that is without like literally having to math it? No, nobody can. That's not how we do it. We do it in feet. We don't use inches unless it's like a couple of inches. We don't do that. You know, like that much is inches. Maybe even that much. Like that would be in inches. We don't do that in feet. But once you exceed a foot, maybe 16 inches? Like, no. And then here's their fix, because Sony does not do, on their professional ones, they do not do 3.5 mil. They just don't. They will not do it. So what do? They ship you the old standby, like Sennheiser will give you, and Grado used to have, which is the 6.3 millimeter quarter-inch jack to 3.5 mil. And it even still has the cutout for the old iPhone, where it tapers down right there. Whew, the fact that that still has to be around all these years later. Well, let's get cracking this open. For the most part, besides the damage I did, and I tore the box, realistically, this is just it's like a cheap paper box, okay? I'm not worried about maintaining this. This is not like... I think even the Philips came in a better looking box, but this is a professional pair of equipment. It's definitely more than... oh, so you don't even open it from the top. So this is the open down here. Tactile knife co Maverick. So it's just like mice. You guys are wondering why this flap would normally be on the top, because without the flap, with the hanging tag there, it would just pop the top open. In this case, they didn't even let you open it from the top. It's probably glued shut, so it doesn't. You don't drop your $400 headphones, or people can't steal them too, without it looking like it's not hanging anymore. This is what I get for doing this one-handed, because I don't have a way to mount my phone. Ooh, so the box does come out. Good, good, good. Oh, it's not a box. It's a sleeve. Oh no. Apologies for the delays, but now I've lost my chair to King Arthur. How's it going, King Arthur? Yeah, is this your chair now? Yeah? You have Gertrude helping me over here. Hey, Gertrude. But what happened is the Pixel 7 Pro overheated, and I nearly lost the video prior to what we are currently recording, because it never closed out the MP4 file. Now, I forget the terminology for it, but the newer Pixels do save it as like a... Oh, crap, I forget what it's called, but like a staggered file or something like that. I forget the term. So it was sitting as .pending, as a hidden file in the camera folder. Luckily, ResilioSync on my phone is set up to automatically back up that folder and photos and a bunch of other ones just to my server. And it grabbed it and backed it up to the server, so I didn't lose it, and then I could just rename it. And it's a playable file. So I believe OBS can now do that too, so you don't have to go to MKV and then have it like rename after with like a plugin or a setting. I would probably still do that because it's far more reliable, in my opinion. But in this case, this new way of doing it did save my tush. We do have the first like 30 minutes of this video. This gorgeous guy. Oh, so sexy. Here is what was in our box. Our box is now on the floor. The hang tag fell out someplace. I literally don't know where, because it's not there anymore. It's not in there. Did you take it?
Did you take a little guy? I don't know what happened to it. But it's basically in here. I thought it was a box in here. This opens up. You could have easily pulled the headphones out like that. Oh, no, it's up here. So, and this just reinforces, because this is actually the sturdy part. This box is paper thin. So, like, realistically, this is the one doing the heavy lifting. And then your headphones pull out like this. And then you drop cables in your crotch. Okay, here is the... Ooh, this does not feel as nice as the Sennheiser one that I gave Squeers. But because this is a professional headphone, Sony would never dare, and this started with the CD900 STs, they would never put a 3.5mm with a screw on the end of the cable. Only true 1/4 inch. And this has the same texture as the original cable of the M1 ST, which is this like lined... It's got some lines. It's super durable. Super duper holds its shape. Like thermoplastic. Very similar to some of other like IAI's headphones. You can actually see... I'm literally not even going to unwrap this because this is the exact same cable that the M1 ST has. And I don't know if you can see like the lines on it, but this is the weird connector that the only place I've found ends for this, the custom ones, is in Japan. There's a manufacturer there that makes them, like, I think specifically for this, because previously it's always only been a 3-pole, like a TRS. This is a TRRS with a screw-on retention. See right here. And then the other cables that they offer that actually fit in there from Sony, if you notice, it looks like you can screw it because there's these like screw things here. But even Sony on the shorter cables did not put on the screw-on connector. So, but I will probably just be using my M1 ST cables because they're the same cables if you bought this in Japan that you could buy for the MV1. That was cable. We got Manuel, Sony 1-year warranty, audio and video license, limited. I mean, they're gonna say like is headphone, stereo headphone. Yeah, this looks like just a generic manual for any of their headphones. How to use: grab rubber part of plug, insert. Rotate, plug, headphone, plug, mini plug. Here, they show you how to plug it in and screw it in. If you look at this rounded shape, that is definitely not those. It is definitely these. Yeah, plug it in all the way, then screw it in. If you need to plug it into mobile, use the dingus here. This guy, the adapter. David has my Sennheiser, one of those that's really robust, like things like a weapon, because he's using the DAC amp he bought off me, which is actually a really nice one. I forget, it's a little guy like this big, but like 384, like 32-bit 384 kilohertz, like for the size, but it's only 3.5mm jack because it's can be bus powered, I guess technically. But you can also use an external power source. What they do show is A and B. That looks like peeling back the ear cup. Do they say what that means? Oh, location of serial number label. Oh, okay. It's a pair of headphones. And they better work. So let's put that back in the box. Take the box, put it on the floor. Take our white bag. Oh, these feel exactly like the M1 STs. Beautiful. Okay, so they definitely have more care here than on the M1 STs. What I mean by that is They have these little cardboard doodads that protect the Sony logos, as well as the outer part of the open. Oh, these cups are way bigger, but they're way smaller on the inside. Oh my god. Anybody saying that these are too small, I was thinking I would have to put the M1 ST Yaxi pads on here. I want you, look at this. Oh my, I gotta put these on my head. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not really sorry, but you know what I mean. Like, now I usually use 4 clicks. Oh, they feel lighter than the M1 ST. If you listen to the M1 ST, it's a little bit higher pitch. And I use a size 4 on Sony's, always. Sony makes all their headphones, at least, yeah, they're a little bit bigger. But yeah, Sony, I mean, I use size 4 always, basically. Alright. Oh my god. Oh. The M1 STs originally used a leatherette cup that isolated very, very well. It wasn't a squared out cup like the Yaxi pads though. It was more like a rounded one, more similar to the like CD900 ST, 7260s, the V6s, etc. But it isolated very, very well. However, like I said, for my Western ears and these small cups, just buy the Yaxi pads. Buy the Yaxi pads, and hopefully there will be third-party cables available, so you don't have to use this thing. You can, but these can do balanced. Sony knows they can do balanced. They sell balanced cables, just not in the U.S. I don't even know if I'm in frame, but seriously, oh my gosh, you gotta hook your ears in a little bit. Compared to the Yaxi pads, the opening on the Yaxi pads is bigger than the stock ear cups on the MV1 here. But oh my gosh, are these cushy? These things are cushy as. Like, if you have glasses like me now, I love these Oakley glasses. If you look, they put the bar sideways, so it's wide here, but it's basically just a flat piece of spring steel there, so that like I used to always have like thick plastic, and I prefer that because generally the plastic glasses with a metal hinge are just way more sturdy than like the thin wiry ones. The thin wiry ones also usually stick out more because they have to go out this way, and they're like a wire, like a round wire. These being flat, and I like these so much, I bought the exact same pair. They make them in sunglass form as well. Have a pair in sunglasses and have a pair in glasses. They do make a rounded bottom pair, like a more circular sunglass frame now. Same side. These are like the wheelhouse is what they're called, but same side arm. And I may pick up those. Like if you're running on these, I've considered buying another frame that I just do not use until these wear out, because I love these so much. And part of it is because of this very thin, but because it's spring steel, it's got that like still nice tight grab. But what that does also mean is that when you wear headphones and stuff, they don't jut out so far to make it so they don't, like the headphones don't seal. Oh my god, these are they're so light. Oh, that's the one thing. One of the things I loved about the M1 STs is how light they were. R70Xs are in the same league, but they're bulkier. They're bigger. You know, like this still, because it's a closed back, can be a little bit smaller in your head. But these oh my god, they're definitely lighter than the M1 ST. Hold on, I gotta post scale over here. Alright, postage scale. Zeroed out.
M1 ST is 7.7 ounces. Yes, I don't have a proper one. Also, it's only accurate enough for postage. Realistically, I want one that's accurate to a tenth of a gram, and those are usually plus or minus 10%. So what that means is that it will be accurate down to a gram, realistically, measurement-wise. Oh, we're hitting the mouse boxes because these are bigger. And you can tell because of how they sit on here, they are a little bit bigger. I cannot read that. Hold on. Literally just getting dust on everything. Also 7.7 grams. Holy so even though they made them bigger and I got dust on them, I guess my head's just gonna be a bit dusty. Oh, these are so freaking soft. These pads, these are like comparable to the Alcantara III pads. Actually, like I would say a little like the Yaxis are a little bit rough by comparison. Oh, that is so plush. Hey, King Arthur. Do I have a pair over here right now? Yeah, I do. Not those. These. So this is what I'm talking about from the IIs. You see these are like plush pillows. The IIs with their microfiber and later Alcantara, but the microfiber IIs with this nice plush cup here. Well, these were the first ones, even with those thick plastic framed glasses. They were always Oakleys because they always make a very sturdy pair. And when you have to wear them all the frickin' time, you want them that way. I really need to put those away. But that plush microfiber cup, that was the first pair that I have not had a problem with a lighter clamping force and them not affect glasses. Normally, with something like these Phillips, to overcome like a glasses or get that good seal, especially with the microfiber like this. Look at that. That's garbage by comparison. That looks like some carpet on the ear cup, and it holds so much fur from everybody and everything, and then it's so hard. Like for something like that to work, they have to clamp so much harder. But then you want that memory foam in there. Otherwise, what'll happen is you get what happened with they're not microfiber. I forget. They're on the SteelSeries headsets. They did fix it sort of on the later versions, but they're so soft that they would just squish flat. Like as you would wear them, they would just kind of, and then your ears are resting on the speaker. That's kind of how they got around it with the Yaxi pads, is they put the nice soft material here, but then they reinforced the sides and made it sturdy with like a pleather. You know, like that's kind of a way to get around that. Oh, and you can see the size difference here. They are they're not much bigger. They're in the same form factor, right? But you can see here, even this, I don't know if you can see this, but even this piece of plastic is hopefully you can tell by that L logo, right? Even that piece of plastic is just a little bit bigger. So every part of this is just scaled up just a little bit, because these are like your live monitoring. Like you'll see vocalists recording with these on, right? Whereas this is the person like at the studio, at the mixing thing, at the mixing booth, right? So like you have something a little bit bigger, and it's not gonna be like cumbersome. I still, like I said, prefer the professional red. You'll see this on their cameras as well. These do not collapse like the older 7506. The CD900 STs did not as well. These do fold flat, which none of them did. Super handy when putting down on a desk or putting around your neck, either one. Same thing here with the MV1s. They do run into each other a little bit more. I didn't know how I would feel about the Sony, because I could tell that it's not too shiny
there. I actually considered blacking it out with like a black oil based Sharpie. Well, not really a Sharpie, it's like a zebra pen or whatever. I've done that before, and that takes the edge off and makes it blend in way more. But that's actually like a textured, like the old school textured silver color. It's more in the like that stage, you know, like the dull color than the like that. I just didn't know if it would be like, you know, once again they went the classic just white Sony there. They still got the exact same vibe. The fact that they made them bigger and somehow made them the same weight. These are gorgeous. I don't think I'll have to replace the pads on these. If Yaxi does make a pair, I did ask them to see if these would fit on here. Seeing that this is a completely different size now, it's not going to. And with how nice these cups are, holy jeez, I do not know if you'd even want to be truthful. We'll see when I'm actually able to wear them. Holy crap. You want to see how open these are? Can you guys see this? Hold on. That's how open these are. Do you see that? That's why this was covered up in shipping. That's all a super duper fine mesh. And it looks like these go into some stubs that go down into here. But the rest of that, there is nothing. It's just hollow. A hollow cup. Oh my gosh. That's a non-angled driver compared to the M1 ST, which has this angled one. At least as far as I can tell. It's just like a flat speaker there. I really don't want to pull them off, but it doesn't seem like it's angled, or if it is very slightly angled. The Pixel 7, because it didn't finish backing up that video I managed to recover, is trying to overheat again. So let's hopefully recover and not have to recover this video. Let me show you how this goes in. And how it should work is this super recessed in there, and then you screw it on. And that way it no coming offy. And it looks, oh, the vibes there. This cable looked a bit out of place on the M1 ST, and I'll show you why. It's because it's exposed. See, like that? Like it's exposed. Whereas this being recessed in there, that looks way more legit. However, what we're actually going to be using, because we can... King Arthur, you're stealing my USB cables! Yeah! If you guys need a longer than 6 foot, and you don't want a chubby cable, but longer than 6 foot, 100 watt charging cable, that is a native Union 8 foot. Kevlar braided, super nice. King approves. These are what I used before the chubby cables. You can't eat that. No. But what we're going to do is, because this can take a balance, since it's the same connector as M1 ST's, we have their lower end balanced cable, which is their like 1 point something meters, like 4 foot roughly. And it's got a right angle 4.4 millimeter balance check on it. And as you can see, this one's seen a heckin' lot of use. So that's also kind of why I'm looking to get a custom one. I do really like these though, and the 3.5 mil version of this that is shorter as well is also this nice right angle, and sometimes that can be very useful, especially when carrying in their pocket, stuff like that. This, despite looking like it's a screw-on jack, because it's got the vertical striations there like you would turn it, it is not. It just goes straight in there like that. And because it doesn't have that locking, if you notice, there's this weird gap right there, right? And that kind of just hangs out. Doesn't look too horrible once again because of the recessed plug here. Put those on the M1 STs, and look at that. Does it not look jank? And that's an official solution.
sigh. I don't know. These are completely different vibes. Like, that's definitely like, you see, it's the silver Sony with the teal professional, right? That's like 7506. And this is like, well, it's based on the CD900 ST, but goes back to the more MDR-V6 with the red and the white. Still the blue and red on here, but this is the same band. Love it. Like, if you guys liked the MDR-V6 7506, this band is the same thing but better. They actually have like padding here, but it's still this hard flat top. Watch my MDR-M1 ST video on it, but for a comparison there. This one does have a little bit, like, it's gotten a little bit flat up there over time, you know, but just a scoosh, like, you know. I think I've been running these for a couple years now. I don't remember exactly, but basically once I found out about them, which was within a year, I bought them immediately. Might have been prior to me even taking my new job, so that'd almost be like over 2 years now. But I know it took me a while to get the pads because I was just kind of like, do I really need them? And then after using them for a while and then starting to use them for work where I'm at the desk 8-9+ hours a day, having to like reposition it every hour or two got old fast. And I think, like I said, that's not an issue with the headphone design. That's an issue with like it's designed for Japanese people. I am not a Japanese person. These, however, being designed for the American market, these cups are beautiful. Look at that. Nice. Like, look at that. That is bigger than my fingertip or deeper than my first knuckle. Right? So it's like an inch? At least. Well, I'm going to go take a listen to these while my phone stops overheating and hopefully doesn't lose the file.